And we're off to the races. What's going on, everybody? It's SoCal Honey Badger along with.
It is Ryan Stone over here. What's going on, everybody?
Nice, nice. There was, kind of a big deal kind of might have happened this weekend here in wrestling land. Yeah, do you know of any big deals that may have happened this weekend?
No, no, it was kind of a tame week and nothing much really happened as far as I knew.
Yeah, I didn't do much. I just chilled out and watched WrestleMania all weekend. There was nothing really else going on, so I figured, why the hell not? Huh?
Why not?
Right? Okay,
Why
so
not?
let's just go into it. Initial impressions.
Ooh, I'm gonna be honest. So this is what their third year doing a 2-day WrestleMania. I
Yes.
actually like the 2-day WrestleMania. It feels like you get more people on the card. It feels like yeah, just everything went smoother. I was at WrestleMania in New York in 2019. God, it felt like I was there for like 8 hours. It was one night, and we literally left the place at like 1 o'clock in the morning is when the show
Jesus.
ended. You
Jesus.
know, yeah, dude, it's nuts. So like going to 2 days and the show's like what 3.5, 4 hours max, dude. That's nice.
And
That's really nice. I think
see,
that's a really good idea.
I got to agree with you on that. I really enjoyed that it was basically a shorter show instead of one
Yeah,
big marathon cuz it was like at the end of the show I felt like, man, that was really cool. I could go for more of that. And that's what you always want at the end of any show,
right.
is to walk away saying, that was good. You know what? I could do that again. I could do that more. If they had more, I would take more. Instead of being like, oh my God, is this thing over? Like how it was before.
Yeah. Yeah, dude. I mean, like it's insane. How how wrestling pay-per-views went from like like especially just WrestleMania when we were kids watching it, 3 hours max. That was the show.
Right?
Man, now it's like 4, 5, 6 hours. The worst was freaking 32. That was the last time they were in Dallas. That show dragged.
Was that the one that was 7 hours?
Yes.
Because I remember they had one that was 7 hours, and I remember watching it and just being like, why is this 7 hours? Like, why did I
I
just do
was
this?
I was there, and it was like, why am I sitting here? This is boring.
Yeah.
It wasn't fun. It wasn't a good. There was like three good matches, I want to say, in 7 hours, and I even missed. That's even missing the kickoff because the ticketing system shut down right after doors opened. Everything crashed,
Oh,
and so we
Jesus.
were all standing outside for 2 hours before we were able to get in.
Jesus.
Um,
And
yeah, it
then,
was nasty. And then you had a 7 hour show. Oh, it was bullshit.
yeah, that's
Just
a bit
bullshit.
much. That's too much. Like, I feel like there is a limit on wrestling, and I think that's one of the problems that people have with. I think one of the main problems with WWE is I feel like there's just too much, like all at once.
I
Because
was literally having that conversation this afternoon with another friend of mine about how there's just so much today.
like you can't even follow it. Like I feel bad for smaller time gigs like MLW that ran a show during WrestleMania weekend, and it's like, fuck, how many people are watching MLW right now? I bet there's some dope ass matches going on right the fuck
Yeah,
now,
for sure.
and nobody's watching it because like. Dog, after 2 days of WrestleMania, plus Ring of Honor, plus AEW still ran Dynamite and Rampage that weekend, or Dynamite that, or Rampage that weekend at least. Like,
Right.
granted, it wasn't live, but you still
It was still on
wanted to
TV.
watch it. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
So it's like, man, there was a whole lot of wrestling, and WrestleMania going to 2 days, I think, is the best thing because I can only take so much WWE at once.
Right. Yeah. Imagine if it was just one night, but you had like a show and a half. Dude, I would have been burnt out at the 3 hour mark. Knowing that like you only have a less than an hour left, it kept me entertained.
Yeah.
But dude, yeah, man, I enjoyed WrestleMania 38. This was my first, well, the last pay per view I watched was Rumble, and I couldn't tell you the last time I watched a pay per view from beginning to end for WWE, probably since like 2020.
Damn.
Um, yeah, even having the network, I just never watched them. Or we'd have them on, but I just wouldn't care. Like I remember SummerSlam, I didn't see most of it.
Wow.
I just didn't care, and I was sitting in the room.
I'm actually I'm actually shocked that I've watched more WWE recently than you. That's insane. I think the last pay-per-view I watched, besides WrestleMania, of course, was I watched the last Takeover, not the one that happened before WrestleMania, but the one at the Royal Rumble, and I watched the Royal Rumble and I watched SummerSlam. So I've got one NXT Takeover on you. Oh, and I watched
I
Day One. Yeah, that's right. I think I watched Day One.
Oh
as well.
wow,
Yeah. So
I couldn't even tell you what happened on day one. I didn't watch it. Yeah.
yeah, so I've been watching more WWE than you. So I think like here's my
Wow.
initial impression on WrestleMania. Then is it's actually was probably the best show they've done in a long fucking time. Like I actually watched it, and when it was over, I was like, that was cool. Like
Yeah.
it wasn't cool enough to get me to want to watch Raw and SmackDown every week, but I was like, damn, I'm kind of excited for the next pay-per-view.
Okay.
You know, like, because the shit that drives me away from WWE is still there, okay? The CGI intros with the fucking PS1. Dude, that
The augmented
PS1
reality, yeah.
Undertaker, like,
Oh, it's so trash.
when it's just logos, you know, like Sasha Banks with her, like, brass knuckles that say boss time, or even Cody Rhodes' neck tattoo, which everybody knew that was going to be his CGI intro, right? I think we saw that coming. But I mean, even the neck tattoo, I mean, okay, that stuff with the logo is that's fine. It doesn't bother me. I especially like the ones that they do for New Day, where it looks like Mario, like Nintendo games.
Yeah.
That stuff's cool. It's just that Roman Reigns, man. And the Becky Lynch, dude. Oh my God, big time Becky. She can't get you. She's not real.
Yeah, I can't stand those augmented reality things either. You know, dude, I'd rather have pyro. Give me pyro.
They had pyro, though.
Instead. I know, but give me more pyro and take away that. Whatever
Yeah.
money you're dedicating to augmented reality stuff, take it away and give me more pyro. That is what I would rather have. You know, again, it's as I've said many times to people, WWE is not a wrestling show. It is a TV show about wrestling. And you look at what they try to compete with. They try to compete with other, you know, TV shows, you know, anything episodic, like they like to say.
Well,
But they also compete with professional sports, because then you see, if you ever have, if don't know if you've watched a Carolina Panther game recently, they have an augmented reality Panther come out and like jump off the stadium.
Oh yeah.
You know, so WWE is just trying to compete at that level because they see themselves as an NFL and NBA and Major League Baseball. That's where they see themselves, but they're also an entertainment company. You know.
Yeah, it's just like I get what they're doing, but to me it seems almost like they're flossing their production values. They seem so extraneous, and it's tough
Yeah.
for me to say that for a wrestling show, right? Like this is supposed to be over the top wild bullshit. And so for me to say it's a little bit extra, like, you know, there's a problem. They just look
Right.
bad, and no one seems to like them. There are a few that are tolerable, like the New Day one, where it's like, all right, that's kind of cool. But, like, mostly it's people hate them. I don't know why they're so determined
I don't
to
like 'em.
do that. I mean, I guess if you're making a show for 5-year-olds, then they eat that shit up. So maybe, I guess. Yeah.
Absolutely.
But, like,
Absolutely.
I will say the other complaint that I usually have for WWE is the camera work being, like, it just gives me motion sickness. Like, that's not even just a stylistic, like, oh, I don't like this style. Like, I physically get sick watching their shows sometimes.
Oh,
And so,
and with your history of head injuries, that is absolutely not surprising to me.
yeah.
But even for someone like me who's probably had minor head injuries, I can't stand it either. I have to look away at times. It's too much.
Well, the
Too
problem
much.
is that it's too frequent. And that was one thing I was going to point out, is that this show they did it a lot less. It was still there and it was still noticeable and annoying, but it wasn't vomit inducing. Like
Right.
they mellowed it out, man. It wasn't every other move was a quick zoom, like, oh, we're gonna zoom in for every fucking punch on a 10 fucking punch in the corner,
Oh
right?
God.
It's like, do we have to zoom in for every one of those punches? Like, my head hurts now. And they
I'm
mellowed
getting
it out.
nauseous thinking about it.
Yeah. So, and I'll say that, like, dude, they mellowed it out. So I actually was able to watch the show
That's good.
start to finish, see some wrestling, and enjoy everything that there was. And, yeah, it's just on the production values, I will say that it was the best produced show that they've put out in a long time. In a long time. It was watchable. It's sad
As you and I
to
were
say that.
texting over the weekend, I think I had said something to you about nobody can compete with them when it comes to the grandioseness of wrestling or sports entertainment, whatever the hell you want to call it.
Yeah.
Nobody can compete with them. If you want to go look at in-ring work, sure, there's probably a number of promotions that can beat WWE in terms of in-ring work, and that's not a knock on their talent. It's a knock on how they tell their talent to wrestle and overproduce them. But when it comes to everything else, and I've even said this, if the match is good, if the promos are good, if the story is good, if the production is good, there's nobody better than WWE.
Yeah.
When
Yeah.
everything is hitting, nobody does it better.
Yeah, there's no arguing with that. I mean, people were tearing up when The Undertaker came out twice.
Yeah. Oh, God, twice. At least give me Deadman on that second entrance. Come on.
Right? It was like, oh.
But
he didn't
I
even
got to
have
say something that actually concerned me about WrestleMania.
Go for it.
And leaving WrestleMania. Because I did watch Raw. Well, I watched the Hulu 90-minute Raw, but I watched Monday Night Raw for the first time in almost 2 years.
Oh, wow.
One thing that concerned me leaving WrestleMania was, and I saw a tweet about this, and to me it actually made sense. And the tweet was definitely sarcastic. It said, WWE is in good hands with Stone Cold Steve Austin, Logan Paul, Vince McMahon, Johnny Knoxville. And I'm like, oh, damn. They did put over their outside and part-time talent a lot more than they put over some of their full-time talent that's been there, Yeah. Like, sure, you got your Becky, your Bianca, your Roman, your Brock. Who's after that? Who, Cody came out, he won, that was cool. But, I don't know, man. It felt like they put a lot more time into the outsiders and the part-timers and the legends than they did into the people that have been there week in, week out.
But I don't see how that's a complaint anymore. Like, when has WWE ever not done that for WrestleMania? I mean, WrestleMania 1, they put more focus on the celebrities than the wrestlers. That's always been the case with WrestleMania. Like,
yeah,
but
at the main event, you still might have had Muhammad Ali as the ref. You might have had Mr. T as Hogan's partner, but you still had Hogan, Orndorff, and Piper, Snuka. They were all still in there. And yeah, you got your Roman and Brock. And I think Roman, outside of a few people, they put them over. But, and I know that you got your Johnny Knoxvilles, your Logan Pauls, they bring in a different fan that you're trying to get them to latch on. I get the point of it. It just felt like, I would have liked, maybe instead of doing these three-way tag matches, why not just give us one-on-one matches with or two-on-two matches with some really good stories behind it instead of, it's each title's in a three-way match. Where was Ricochet? Where was the Intercontinental title? Everybody was saying that there should have been a Razor Ramon Intercontinental title ladder match. Memorial ladder match.
Fucking dope.
Where was it?
God.
Where was Ricochet? Oh, I could tell you where Ricochet was. He just spent the last two matches losing to Austin Theory. He wins the Intercontinental title and loses to Austin Theory, and I think it was back-to-back non-title matches. I don't remember the last time Ricochet won a match, but again, they're putting up a lot of their part-timers. Again, I loved seeing Stone Cold. I loved that main event. Everything. I sat you know, at the edge of my seat watching Kevin Owens and Stone Cold. But then I thought about it and I'm just like, dang, you ended your show with a guy who hasn't wrestled in 19 years. Granted, yes, one of the biggest stars of all time. Honestly, I know you're probably going to have that same like Hogan Rock issue where if you had put like Charlotte and Ronda as the main, which I'm in a way I'm glad it wasn't, but there could have been something. Becky and Bianca could have headlined. You know, they had a great match.
Dude, but that's the thing is the concern they had was it's in Texas. A lot of those motherfuckers showed up for Stone Cold, and they're leaving when he's done. You gotta put Stone Cold last. Dude, I'm pretty sure Stone Cold said he wasn't even gonna do it if he doesn't get to be last.
I don't know. He seems like he'd be, you know, definitely a for the business guy, and you know, titles go on last. You know, I
don't know.
I get it. Like I said, I was geeked out. I loved the Stone Cold moments. I even loved Night 2, where it was absolutely predictable. And you even texted me like 10 seconds before it happened that, watch, Stone Cold comes out. It was absolutely predictable, but I loved every moment of it. We got one final Vince stunner. Let's hope it's the last.
God.
But again,
we'll get into
there
that.
was
we'll
just
go on a breakdown match.
I can't wait to go into that.
Right.
We got I don't know, man. I just felt like I wish there was a bigger focus on the hardcores, the ones that are there every week, busting their butts, doing house shows. You know, that's to me what I wanted to see. You know, like when Daniel Bryan won the title at WrestleMania 30, was it absolutely fan service? Yes. But did the guy earn it? Absolutely. And it sent everybody home happy. And the guy that everybody wanted got the biggest moment of his career. Bianca, yeah, she headlined last year. It would have been cool. Back to back. You could have started something with her. You know? I don't know, man.
It seems like
I think it could have been cool.
It seems like the frustration comes from the fact that like the main event, the big deal, was a one and done. Like, it was cool that it was Stone Cold, but, like, now what? Because Stone Cold isn't coming back. You know,
Nope.
It's like, that I think is the main frustration is like, yo, dude, you're like, how many more of these guys are you going to dig out? How many more are left? You know, like, Chris Jericho's at AEW now. Okay, that legend. Like, Chris Jericho, Big Show, like, all these legends are at AEW. So you can't trot them out until their contracts are up. And we'll be lucky if like Sting is still walking when AEW lets him off a contract, because you know they're locked down for a long fucking time.
Sting's done after AEW, in my opinion. But I agree with you.
It's like
they got to trot these stars out to draw in the audience. And like I said, it was fantastic. It was nostalgic. It was fan service. I loved every minute of it. But then what happens the next day? you had Kevin Owens and Stone Cold Steve Austin main eventing night 1. The next night, Kevin Owens gets interrupted by Elias's younger brother Ezekiel.
And that was it. With no beard.
Well, absolutely, it is, you know. But where you went from Stone Cold to Ezekiel.
Oh God, I don't even want to. Like, Ezekiel is. See what I'm saying?
And
man?
that's what I mean. Like,
enough to get me to watch Raw again.
The only reason I watched Raw was, I've told you this. My wife is a massive Cody Rhodes fan. She's loved Cody ever since he was dashing, and followed him everywhere. We watched Ring of Honor when he was there. We watched New Japan when he was there. I don't think she was aware that he went to Impact, or I'm sure we would have watched his run there too. But we watched everywhere he's been, almost everywhere he's been since WWE. And she looked at me when Cody came out and was like, we have to watch Raw. I'm not going to lie. My wife broke down crying when Cody came out. Damn. Crying her eyes out with the biggest smile on her face. She loves Cody Rhodes. Cody Rhodes is over in our household. So him getting booed in AEW, like you and I have talked, that was fucking bullshit.
Right,
But
like,
yeah,
dude, and that's the thing. I hope he fucking makes that part of his story in WWE and just like, yo, man, they
yeah,
didn't fucking appreciate me. Because I'm like, dude, I'm sitting there. Me and my wife used to sit there and count the pro Cody signs in the audience. Like, oh, there's one. Look, that guy says I'm here for Cody. And I'm just like, I never understood it. People like, oh, well, we boo him because he acts like a heel and we're waiting for the heel turn. And I'm like, he doesn't act like a heel any more than like Hulk Hogan or Stone Cold did. Like, he
right,
cheated when he was pushed to the limit. Like, he never
sure,
really just outright cheated. But yeah, if you kicked him in the balls when the ref wasn't looking, he was going to kick you in the balls too.
yeah,
You know, so I always
and
felt like they were just booing him because he was turning into the John Cena of AEW.
yeah,
Wrestling fans are
yeah.
edgelords, man. They just like, dude, it's sad. It really is. Like,
We like Cody because he's underutilized. We want him to be the world champ. We want him to be the face of a promotion. Hey, look, Cody's the face of a promotion. I want somebody new now.
yeah, like, dude, everybody's saying that they hate Roman now and they're sick of Roman.
I,
And it's like,
Day
wait a
one.
minute. Y'all
Nope.
were bitching
Love
and
Roman.
complaining about Roman being a heel, and now that he's a fucking heel, now people actually love him. And it's like, y'all just didn't want to cheer babyface. That's what it is. People just want to cheer heels. They're going to boo anybody that's not a heel.
I was still watching throughout that entire Roman thing. Like I said, I was at Mania 31 where he wrestled Brock, booed out of the building. You know, as Samoa Joe tweeted that night when Seth Rollins cashed in, chicken salad out of chicken shit. WrestleMania 32, not Brock and Roman, Triple H and Roman was the main event. Nobody gave a fuck. Roman brought his daughter out and they all got booed.
God.
I was watching during that time, and I gotta say, I always liked Roman in terms of what he could do, but holy crap, they booked him to oblivion. It was awful.
Yeah.
And finally, he came back after his time off during the pandemic, and dude, that tribal chief man hit on all cylinders. He even did an interview, and he said, "I don't know if I would have come back if I couldn't do the tribal chief."
See, like, honestly, I think a lot of the acceptance of Roman is that now wrestling fans don't have to watch WWE. So, like, WWE likes to serve WWE fans. Fuck, they had a commercial
Yeah.
where they had some idiot come out and, I'm not a wrestling fan, I'm a WWE fan. Like, dude, I wanted to fucking shoot that guy in the neck. I was like, what the fuck? Why would you even say that? Like, that's like saying I'm not a football fan, I'm an NFL fan. Like, why would you put out a commercial like that? Like, that shit was like, I'm not even going to get into that, right? But the problem was, for the longest time, wrestling fans had no wrestling. Okay?
Sure.
So we had to watch WWE. And if we wanted to watch wrestling, we had to hope that WWE saw fit to give us some. And now that we can watch AEW, and I can literally put on Dynamite, and it's actually an hour of wrestling. There's like 3 matches. They're about 15 minutes apiece. There's a couple of promos in between to grease it up. Like, it's an actual wrestling show. So all the wrestling fans watch AEW now, and the only people that are watching WWE, and when I say the only people, this is a big fucking number, but the people that are left still watching WWE are people that don't really want to watch wrestling. They want WWE, and that's why Roman is starting to get the reactions, and people are playing along. People aren't, like, you notice the audience isn't, like, hijacking the show as much. In fact, sadly enough, they're doing that shit at fucking AEW fucking shows. But I don't see that at WWE.
You know what? Yeah, the fans that hijacked the shows went to AEW, and now we're like, oh shit.
Right? Like, I get it.
Oh
though,
shit,
but,
that's
like,
funny.
all those annoying edgelord internet fans are like AEW fans, because unfortunately, like, wrestling fans, it's a small niche. You know, there's internet fans that don't like wrestling; they just like being part of a wrestling community. And then there's like WWE fans, and that's the 3 fan bases. And unfortunately, 2 of those fan bases have been kicked out of the universe. So wrestling fans and internet fans are stuck at AEW, and we have to share that real estate.
Yeah, it's not too bad. You know, it's not like it. I don't know. It's not like the previous when fans would hijack WWE shows. It hasn't been that bad. You know, At least when the CM Punk chants happen, you're getting CM Punk, you know.
Yeah, but that
But
shit
yeah,
was dumb to get that shit for almost a decade in WWE.
oh,
Like,
dude, the what chants? Come on.
oh god, yeah, oh, and Stone Cold came back and they started doing it. He cut them off though. He
He
cut them
did,
off,
yes.
and they stopped.
Smart man.
And I was like, "Thank you, Stone Cold. Only you can end this. Only
Like,
you
I'm
can
fine if
stop
he
it."
wants. I'm fine if he wants to do the. Do you want to see me give Kevin Owens a stunner? What? I said, do you want like if he would did that a couple times? Okay, I'm cool with it. But then move on. We don't need the entire promo.
Yeah.
But yeah, man, Roman. I agree with you. Where I think fans are finally like, oh, he's the heel. He's what we wanted to be. But it's different. He could have turned heel, and his story could have sucked. But I thought it was great. To me, it's even before he did the tribal chief, everything coming out of WWE was like, oh, he's kind of the new Undertaker. He's the locker room leader. He's the man. He's Vince's top dog, and all he did was just turn that into a heel character. I'm the one putting the food on your table. It's me drawing the people. Dude, I fucking love it, man. I won't lie. During his entrance, I'm standing there with my number one finger in the air. Dude, he's the man.
Dude,
he's the fucking man.
I can't take the acknowledge me thing seriously, though.
Oh, dude, I love it.
No, because I watch a lot of anime, and
okay,
the phrase acknowledge me is something in Japanese culture that a lesser person would say to their superior.
Oh, gotcha.
So when Roman says, acknowledge me, it's him saying that he is less than me, and he's begging for my approval. And that's like the context I have for that phrase, because it's kind of a big thing in anime. Like literally every other anime has something about acknowledging me, or I hope someone acknowledges me. Like that word specifically translated in like anime. It's like all over the place. So when Roman comes out and he's like, acknowledge me, and I'm like, fuck you, I'm the senpai. I will not acknowledge you, Roman Reigns, you underclassman piece of shit. Do my homework.
I acknowledge him. He is my tribal chief.
I'm gonna date
I may not like everything about WWE, but I like. This is funny. Roman's one of the guys. Even though I haven't watched, he's someone I keep up with and what he's doing. I watched. I had to watch the pre-show on both nights just to understand why every match was booked.
Oh,
I knew about the Kevin and Stone Cold, Sammy and Johnny, Roman and Brock. Those were the only three stories I was really following leading up to WrestleMania. And so I had to watch the pre-show just to figure it out.
Well,
it helped. It made it more entertaining.
Most of them didn't need a story. I mean, like, okay, the Drew McIntyre match I looked at as the Bret Hart match. Right? Let's go down the card. You know what? Let's do that, okay?
All right.
So preliminary opening match day one, we got Usos versus Nakamura and Boogs. Obviously,
that's right. That wasn't a three-way. It was only the second night. Okay, I was mistaken there.
Now, clearly that match ended a little prematurely with Boogs getting a fucked up injury. He got Triple H'd. From what I gather, it was
pretty much
Triple H, right, when he tore his quad. And
he tore his quad, yeah. He had it came out he had surgery this week, and he should be good.
In a year. I heard that's a year-long recovery.
Probably.
So, that's got to be the worst shit to debut on WrestleMania. His first WrestleMania match. People dream their entire lives. And he had his one. Dude, I bet you he watched WrestleMania as a kid and was like, this is my chance. I'm going to be a star. No, the fuck you're not.
But see, like that match, while I enjoy all four guys. And I hadn't seen much of Boogs outside the entrance. The build-up to it, to me, was just, eh.
The build-up
like
was
watching
weird.
It on the pre-show. The pre-show, it was like, wait, out of nowhere, Boogs wrestles one of the Usos and beats him. And now they got a tag match at WrestleMania, and it was like a week before. And I'm like, how do you not have something with the Usos lined up? Like, they're your champs. There was a lot of stuff they booked like the last few weeks. I'm like, man. And AEW does it too, and I just don't like it. Set me up in advance. Get like the big stuff should be set up far in advance.
Yeah,
the only match we knew going into it was Roman and Brock.
I feel like with that match, though, like with the Usos, Nakamura, and Boogs, I feel like those are more like sideshow spectacle acts, if you will. Like the
So that's
Usos,
your tag team title
the
match.
Usos are the best tag team the WWE has, right? Like they're the number one
Absolutely.
tag team. And nobody's arguing that Usos as a tag team are a draw in and of themselves. So people would want to see a match featuring the Usos just because of how amazing their matches are. And again, Nakamura and Boog, very big on the character work. So, they're already a spectacle in and of themselves. So I feel like that match was booked just because, the names involved are enough. Like, it doesn't need an angle. People are going to be excited because Nakamura and Boogs are exciting baby faces. The Usos are really good heels. And I've actually seen, like, Boogs' work. I watched some of his matches in NXT, and he reminds me a lot. Like, it seems like they're trying to mold him into kind of what Dr. Death was. And WWE's tried to do because he's a lot of, like, grab and toss, like that Taz kind of style, like a lot of suplexes and power moves. Everything is just to show how strong he is. He reminds me a lot, and he's very snug. He reminds me of Dr. Death if Dr. Death wasn't like actually shooting in every match. Like if Dr. Death was working, then that's kind of what Rick Boogs' style reminds me of. He even dresses like Dr. Death did.
But, I don't know. It just didn't draw me in. And I really like 3 out of the 4 guys, and I like Boogs. It just didn't draw me in. I just didn't care. Again, I haven't watched, so maybe that's me, but I just didn't care. And for me, a tag team title match, I don't know. To me, the title matches should be more important, and it just didn't feel like it.
Well, I don't know, man. Tag team titles in WWE, I consider like the hardcore title during the Attitude Era. It's like whatever and whoever the fuck has it. Like,
yeah, but that's a problem. Look at AEW. I love their tag division. Their tag matches feel important.
Yeah, but
didn't.
You're not going to get Vince to give a shit. The only tag
that
teams
sucks too.
ever like have any kind of sway in WWE are always familial ones. The Hardy Boys, the Steiners, the Usos. Outside of that, only the New Day is the only team that wasn't like broken up as soon as they won the belts. Because that's what they do. You win the belts, okay, you're the champs. End of the story. Now you break up and you go for the singles belts. So like, like the draw of a tag team title match means nothing. They have 2 tag team champions in WWE anyways. Who really is the best? Like there's no best.
But when you got 2 nights and 16 matches, you can make it feel more important.
They could have.
That's where I look at it.
They could have, but again, like tag team matches in WWE is just basically an excuse for them to pop the crowd with multi-man spots. Like that's it. Like it's just
it feels
to get
that way,
of big multi-man spots to get the crowd excited and hyped and warmed up for the next match. Like the tag team division, tag team matches, tag team wrestling as an art form is just not something that WWE is interested in. And I think it's like people say it's because Vince hates tag teams, but I think really it's that Vince is a businessman, and I've been playing the shit out of GM mode, and booking tag team matches is fucking a pain in the ass. Because you're like, oh man, I have this tag team feud, but if one thing goes wrong with one person, the entire storyline is done. Okay? If we have the Usos versus the New Day and Xavier Woods stubs his toe, now I have no angle, no story, no feud, no nothing. Everything is put on hold. So I could see why they hate tag team matches, because they have the most brutal fucking schedule on the planet. So of course their guys are always getting hurt. And of course they have to shelve angles and they can never book long term, because their guys are always hurt. But I get it. It's just the way it is with WWE. They don't give a shit about tag matches.
And that's a shame.
I thought the match was good. I mean, the ending kind of came out of nowhere. Rick Boogs, like he's got some really cool power move spots.
I think so.
They're Bianca Belair-esque, like like he did the one-legged suplex, and he does like a lot of that stuff.
That was cool when he dropped to a knee, then stood back up. Yeah. And then watching that match back, I'm like, man, that's probably why you tore your quad later on. You probably shouldn't have done that.
I think the issue, and the thing is, he was doing his big babyface comeback. I think Nakamura and Boogs were probably going to go over, because he was doing his big babyface comeback, and it looked like they were building him up to be like the unstoppable strong man who beats both the Usos by himself. and basically carries the tag team. And, because Nakamura is old and they never gave a shit about him anyways. So it looked like that was where the match was going. It didn't go there. It kind of sucks. But, what a way to open WrestleMania, right?
Yeah, that was a bummer. That was a bummer.
Next match, McIntyre versus Corbin. I consider this, I was going to say it earlier, the Bret Hart match. Remember back in the day when Bret Hart wasn't the champion, but there was always a Bret Hart match just to remind you, hey, Bret Hart's really good and he can beat anybody. And maybe he'll go for the, it was like on your random in your house. It's like Bret Hart versus Hakushi, Bret Hart versus Jerry Lawler, Bret Hart versus fucking PCO.
Bret Hart versus 1-2-3 Kid.
Yeah, there was always the Bret Hart match, and then there was always the Undertaker match. And it was like, here's our baby face that's like the good guy baby face who we want to keep strong until we need him in the title program. And then here's our scary baby face who we're never going to put in the title program, but we want him to be scary in case we need to build up a heel for the title program. And I feel like Drew McIntyre is the Bret Hart. And Bobby Lashley is the Undertaker. So Drew McIntyre is there to stay strong, and then if ever we need a baby face in the main event, we're going to throw him up there. Bobby Lashley we're going to keep him very strong, and if ever we need a baby face or a heel to feed to our top baby face, we will have them fight Bobby Lashley first, which is what the Undertaker was.
True.
So that match was a typical Bret Hart match. It's weird to say that about a Drew McIntyre match, but it was like, here's all the babyface's spots, get the babyface pop in there, and then after the match, the heels will try to get heat back, but Drew McIntyre is too badass and awesome, so he destroys the ring ropes with a sword, and that's the end. Which is what Bret Hart would do, right? He would go in, do his big spots, and then the heels, after losing, would try to jump Bret Hart, and Bret Hart's like, no, dude, not only did I beat you, but also I'm going to fucking punch you and throw you out of the ring and go back to posing. And that's what we got out of that match.
Yeah, it was what it was. I like both guys. I didn't see a problem with it, but yeah, it was...
No, you know what? There was one thing I had a problem with, and that was kicking out of the end of days. That pissed me off.
That was interesting.
I don't like that.
That
was the only move they had that was protected. They have no protected finishers at all.
That should have at least been, that type of kick out should have been saved for a bigger match, like a championship match, or maybe, he's about to win the title for the first time and somebody kicks out, something like that.
Or even a feud that went longer than just, hey, we need Drew McIntyre to go over at WrestleMania.
Yeah, I mean, when did his feud with Corbin start? I think it was just before the last Saudi show. Yeah.
Yeah, it's like, at least if it was a blood feud, right? And it was like, oh man, Drew McIntyre, if he had gotten beat by it, and it's like, oh, he already lost. Can he kick out? Nobody's ever kicked out. He's already lost to it himself. And then he kicks out. And then you get the pop of the fucking century. But I don't know, man. Yeah. WWE they just wanted a typical babyface Bret Hart match. Drew McIntyre is their current Bret Hart. Their current solid babyface. We just need him to go over. We don't fucking care. Whatever it takes to make Drew McIntyre. And that's the thing I fucking hate about WWE. Whatever it takes to make our guy look good. I kind of side with Kevin Nash when he said, or what was it, Undertaker, when he looks at Bret Hart and he's like, motherfucker, it's not always about you. And WWE books like that, right? If it's not serving the purpose, everything is about, that whole match was about Drew McIntyre. It wasn't Drew McIntyre versus Happy Corbin. It was like, yo, dude, how do we make Drew McIntyre look like the most awesome, extremist, amazingest thing ever? So that way, if we ever needed to feed him to Roman, we have him strong. Right? That was it. There was nothing for Corbin. There was nothing about advancing him or even just anything in that angle to show you that angle had an extra person in it. And yeah, I don't like that because they kind of ruined one of the coolest angles they had. Dude, literally Corbin could have been the next Undertaker streak. They were sitting on the Undertaker streak. Who's kicking out of the fucking end of days? They could have dragged that on for so long.
Oh, for sure.
And that's such, oh man. And dude, it was just a snide, offhand Michael Cole comment, right? That was it. It was, he kicked out of end of days. Yeah, no one's ever done that before. Anyways, Drew McIntyre now has a chin lock. God, that pissed me off as a wrestling fan because, like, man, I just thought that was one of the few things about Baron Corbin that was fucking cool.
I like Baron Corbin. Yeah, I think they should have kept the end of days clean. You
Yeah,
know, it needed to be saved for something bigger. Yeah, like you said, this was just kind of it was their match.
yeah. Next match, Mysterios
Uh,
versus Miz, and oh yeah, yeah. Anyways, the next match was the Raw Women's Championship match. Dude, fuck that shit. Get that fucking idiot off of my fucking TV. I'm not even gonna mention. Like, we're just not even gonna talk unless you have
I'm good
something to
with it.
say about it. I'm just gonna pretend that
I have nothing to add to that tag
yeah,
match.
that should have
Nope.
never been on my TV. I'm sorry. Like, anybody that had to watch it, I apologize on behalf of wrestling, dude. It's not normally like that. Fourth match, Raw Women's Championship. We got Becky Lynch and Bianca Belair. Many people have said that was match of the fucking thing, like the match. Both days.
Interesting.
That's
Interesting.
the consensus I've been seeing. I don't necessarily agree,
No, I don't.
but I think it was fucking amazing. I think it was.
It was a great match.
I think it was probably, if we're looking at the best, like, if there's a reason to watch WrestleMania Day 1, 3 matches are the reason to watch it. This is one of them. I don't want to say any of them are better than any of the other, but I would say that this match was as good as the other 2 matches that are worth watching on this card. Probably some of the best work you're going to see out of WWE.
Work-wise, what you got in the ring, absolutely. Absolutely. There were matches that I enjoyed more, but in terms of the quality of match you're getting, oh, dude, this match owned. I loved every minute of it.
Second rope
It was so
450.
good.
Second
That was dope.
rope 450.
That was pretty dope. Yeah.
I was like trying to explain the intricacies of the 450 splash to my wife, and I'm like, babe, you don't understand. She has to jump really high to do that. She's like, yes, dear, you like Bianca. No, dear, you don't understand. It's the 450 splash. But
Dude,
like,
I'll be honest. I tried 450 splashes in training, and the hardest part for me, I'm not a gymnast, so I'm sure it's a lot easier for someone like her. I couldn't get the tuck. I couldn't, or untuck. I could do the rotation, and I could land face down, but I'm still holding my knees.
yeah.
And I ended up even with a crash pad, I ended up jamming my shoulder. I wish I still had the video of me doing a 450. It blew my mind that I was able to do the rotation. But yeah, dude, I can't do the untuck. So and that was off the top. Her doing it off the second was fucking impressive.
Right? I lost my shit when I saw that thing. I started screaming like an idiot. I was like, oh my God! I had a Joey Styles moment. And again, I don't want to say that it's match of the night because I feel like this match was equivalent to the others. Like, I don't feel like Day 1 had a match of the night. I think it had 3 matches that were the best matches, which is this one and 2 more that we'll talk about next. But, like, this match was fucking good. This match showed me that, like, as a wrestling fan, there's still a reason to pay attention to WWE.
Yes. There's always bright spots, but look at it. You had 7 matches on night 1. 3 of them were worth watching.
Yeah. And the others were...
it wasn't even half the show.
Yeah.
Yeah, dude. And even we said it last week on the last episode. We predicted this match was going to be great. It was going to be good. There was no way around it. Both are fantastic. Bianca is there. I think she's the now star. I think she will eventually overtake Becky as probably the main woman for WWE.
She needs to be their ace because she, like, dude,
Yes.
the girl doesn't get hurt. She does shit in the ring no one else can do. Every match is a banger. She's got personality. She's got a good look. And you know what? Like, I know a lot of people probably don't think about this, but the fact that her husband also works there, it just means that as a company, she's going to be loyal to the company because the company is literally feeding her family. So, like, dude, there's only upside to Bianca Belair. Like, they need to make her the ace of the women's division, which, I mean, they can't any more than they have. They put the belt on her at WrestleMania. So, I mean, clearly
and back-to-back WrestleManias, right? Dude, she even won the main event last year.
Yeah. So, I mean, clearly she is the ace, but I'm just saying, like, they need to keep her in the main event. Not even the women's main event picture, but she needs to be what they should have done with Wendy Richter. What they've tried to do with Charlotte Flair and what they're doing right now with Becky Lynch, they need to continue that with Bianca.
Absolutely. She's so young, though. Like, she's so young in the business that she's got so much time left. But dude, so she's just gonna get better, and that's insane to think about.
Yeah,
she's going to get better.
Yeah, she's insane. Like, dude, just like I was always kind of fair weather on her. I was like, all right, there's a lot of hype around her. I've seen a couple of her matches. I like the hair gimmick, but nothing like really blew my mind. And then when she gorilla pressed Sasha Banks up the fucking stairs, I was like, yo, she is the baddest bitch on the fucking roster. Like, Bianca Belair is the baddest motherfucker, because I don't even think I've ever seen a guy do that spot.
No, never.
Like,
never.
Dude, that, like, holy shit. Talk about innovating and pushing. And you know what? This match highlights, like, you see a lot of people that shit on, like, women's wrestling and like, dude, this, if you're not a fan of women's wrestling and you don't think these girls can go just as well, if not better than the guys, then Bianca Belair versus Becky Lynch, I think, is one of those matches I would show to someone.
Yes, absolutely. Absolutely. There's not a lot of matches that involve women that I would do that. There's a couple. This is gonna be one of them. You know,
Most
and
of
that's just my opinion. And I don't hate women's wrestling. I love women's wrestling. I was so happy to see them bring it back. You know, they're probably this match. I would probably say the triple threat match at Mania 32: Becky, Charlotte, and Sasha for the when they brought back the women's title for the first time. That's another one I'd show somebody. That match I thought was fantastic. Then Bayley and Sasha from Takeover Brooklyn, the first one.
Yeah.
Those matches, if not just to show them women's matches, those are matches I would show people if I'm trying to introduce them to wrestling.
Yeah.
Just in general. That's how much I think of those matches. And I think this one's one of those too. And dude, Bianca's gonna be so good. Oh my god. She's so good now. I could just imagine what she's gonna be like in 5 to 8 years. Holy crap.
All right, next
Holy
match.
crap.
Next match, Seth freaking Rollins. And he took on the returning Cody Rhodeford. Initial thoughts. Cody Rhodeford. Because he has his name back. Yeah, he's Cody Rhodes again. Yeah. He got his name back.
They did own the name. Dude, if he never got it back and then went back to WWE and still was just Cody, oh man, I would have lost my shit.
Right.
Dude, this match was what I think he needed coming back. I mean, you got Seth Rollins, who's one of the best wrestlers on the planet. Like I said, Cody was always one of my favorites. I don't think he had bad matches. There were matches I was just like meh on, but they just weren't bad. They just didn't entice me. This was a great match
with Goldust.
Dude, yeah. Dude, Cody's great.
Was able to pull 5 stars out of fucking Goldust.
No, that was equal, man. Dustin is the man.
That's what I'm saying is like, dude, like anybody that wants to discount or dispute Cody being good, it's like, dude, how many other people could have a 5-star with Goldust? Because Goldust has wrestled thousands of matches, and only one of them is a 5-star.
Yep. Oh, dude, Cody's great. And like I said, this is the match he needed to have coming out. If you gave him a squash, or if he had a 50-50 booked, stinker, his return would have taken a shit on night one. The fact that he came out, wrestled Seth, had a great match with Seth. Very interesting that it took 4 Crossroadses to beat Seth, and the final ones it took 3 in a row. That I find that kind of weird to do to his finish.
He's done that spot though a lot, where he does the
I just don't
crossroad.
I like it.
I think that's his new finisher. Is not the crossroad.
Like doing 3
triple crossroad.
Okay.
Because he's done that a lot in big matches, where like he'll do the crossroad, and like I think that he did that happen with MJF in his feud with MJF. He had to do the triple. There was another. Oh, you know what? I think he did it against Sammy Guevara. He had to do the triple crossroad.
Probably.
That was when he got the belt, right? When he stole
Probably. No, I think he hit it in one, I want to say, but I don't remember the exact finish of it. But I don't know. In my opinion, he doesn't need to. I think the Crossroads is enough of a finish, especially the way like Seth takes it. Dude, Seth looks like he got dropped on his face. It looked great.
See, and that's the thing. I've been looking and seeing a lot of the feedback and a lot of the comments about that match, and people are like saying it was match of the night. And I agree. When I said there were 3 matches that were match of the night, this is the one of them. But like, as an AEW primarily watching household, dude, he literally just did a basic bitch dynamite match. Like, he literally went out there on fucking WrestleMania and did a basic bitch match that he would have done with fucking Anthony Ogogo on Dynamite.
Let's be honest. Nothing changed from AEW. Dude, he's wearing the same color scheme, the same gear, the same music. He looks the same.
What I'm saying is
he's acting the same. He's the American Nightmare. It makes sense. All right, I'm going to go back to WWE. I'm going to bring everything I did from AEW, including how I put matches together.
But see, what I'm saying is that the point I'm trying to make is people were saying this was like the match of the night and like, oh my God, this was the best match we've had at WrestleMania in so long and blah, 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 blah. No. And I'm like, dude, y'all must have really not watched any AEW. Because, like, if WWE
most of them don't
losing their shit, like, holy crap, Cody Rhodes is fucking good. And it's like, dog, like, he literally didn't do anything that he hasn't been doing for the past 2 years. I'm glad that you think it's great. Welcome to the party.
Right.
But, like, yo, dude, that wasn't even one of Cody's best matches. Like, that was a good match, and it was one of the best on the card. But, like, dude, his cage match with Wardlow was better. I liked his match with Andrade where he fucking lit himself on fire. And I love
Jesus,
that match
and you could still see
the
scars. Dude. You could still see the scars on his back from that fire. When I was like, why is his back red? Oh, you still see it. Dude, he fucked himself up.
Even without that spot, that match was dope.
It was. It didn't need the fire.
That didn't need the fire spot. That match was amazing. And so, like, people are like, wow, this is the greatest match of the night. And holy crap, Cody Rhodes was amazing. And I'm like, dude, y'all need to just stop watching so much damn WWE and watch other shit. Okay, as someone who primarily watches other shit, like, I'm still familiar with WWE. I'll catch the big pay-per-views here and there. I don't watch Raw every week, but I'll be damned if I missed WrestleMania, you know? It's just
exactly, dude. It was a great match, but you're right. It wasn't Cody's best. It was what you probably would have seen on a Dynamite. I haven't watched this week's Dynamite. Willing to bet there's matches as good, maybe better than that from this week's Dynamite. Well, shoot, FTR and the Bucks.
Right.
Never mind.
Nothing's touching that. That's
nothing.
That is a WrestleMania match,
dude.
Anyways, I will say one last thing. I love that he ended the match with the bionic elbow. That he snuck that spot in and he did it just like his daddy. I thought that was cool. Just
I got a
question. I love Dusty Rhodes, man.
What did you think about him bowing down and kissing the mat?
Okay. First of all, we could do a whole podcast on just Cody Rhodes.
Yes.
WWE. Initially, I was like, this motherfucker's kissing these goddamn fucking ring mats for these assholes. But initially, I thought it was just Cody Rhodes sucking WWE's dick now that they're paying him millions. But after a while, it was more like after hearing the reasoning why he went to WWE, and now it was more of like just he wanted to close that chapter in a positive way. You know, like he was like, dude, I left on bad terms and like my life is wrestling. Like I don't want my life in wrestling to end with like having this bad run. That having my last thing in the biggest company in the world was Stardust. And it's like, all right, man, I get that and I respect him going back. And so when he kissed the ring, I kind of took it as that of like, you know what? Like this is my this is kind of like the Walter thing, you know, the mat is sacred, you know.
Okay.
I'm in here. This is my chance to right this wrong in my career, and I'm doing it also to pay tribute to my dad. And I think that the whole point of this run is that Cody wants the world title, and his dad never got it, and Goldust never got it, and so he wants to get it. And I don't know if they'll give it to him, but I think it was more of like a kiss of faith, like here goes nothing. Right? We're back
Okay.
here. We're trying to make this work. Let's see if we can fulfill this one last thing on our bucket list. We've got to go out here and we've got to kick ass tonight. We have to have fucking match of the night. Otherwise, they're not going to give us that goddamn belt. And that's the only reason why we're here. And so that's how I took that. It was a kiss good luck. You and me, Ring, we're going to the top.
And honestly, that's exactly where I hope he goes. I hope he gets the title run. I hope he gets that world title, and I hope it's a decent run.
Imagine if he's the one to beat fucking Roman.
I think he will be.
Fuck, dude. Like, dude, that just shits all over WWE. Like, none of their guys could beat Roman. They had to go and get Cody. None of their guys. What, Finn Balor couldn't do it, and he's a demon. We had to go get Cody. What's Cody's special power? He married a black chick. That's his superpower. That's it. He's just a regular guy. That's his whole gimmick. I'm the son of a plumber. Or no, what is it? Grandson of a plumber.
Grandson of a plumber.
Right?
Yep.
He got no powers. Finn Balor's a demon. Cody Rhodes' power is that he has a reality show. Like,
that's funny.
That's crazy. If Cody is the one to beat Roman, fuck, man. That's just insane. I never thought I'd see that. As someone who knows that WWE has been protecting Roman like he's made out of gold. And from Cody Rhodes coming in from outside, dude, they never put outside people over. Look at Booker T, dog. People still think. I had to explain.
He's not outside. Cody isn't outside. He might have left and come back, but he is WWE.
Yeah,
his training was OVW in the developmental system. He didn't go anywhere else. He wasn't on the indies. His dad didn't train him. No, he got a developmental deal. That was his first step into wrestling. His first match ever was at OVW, I think against a guy named Pat Buck, who was a producer who just quit after this weekend. You know, Cody is a WWE guy. There, he isn't outside. His dad, I mean, they have a statue of his dad where they train all their guys. Cody's WWE through and through.
Yeah, I just didn't think he'd be the guy that was going to beat Roman. I mean, if we think back 3 months ago when he was literally just the TNT champion. Like, who would have thought, dude, if you would have told me, like, Kenny Omega is going to be the guy to finally dethrone Roman, I would have believed that more than Cody Rhodes. I would have been like, funny. yeah, whatever. But I still would have believed that more than Cody Rhodes. But like, Kenny Omega, Mr. AEW, I know he just lost the belt and he's taking time off, but bullshit, right? If you would have told me that at the same time that Cody Rhodes was TNT champion, I'd have believed that more than Cody Rhodes. So it is blowing my mind to like see literally the TNT champ is on fucking WrestleMania.
Yep. And yeah, probably be the undisputed Universal Champion eventually.
Looks like we're going a little bit long, but we got a lot to cover, so you want to speed through. Let's see. Next match, Rousey and Flair.
I was looking forward to it. It didn't deliver to where I was thinking they would.
That's about what I said. I thought the match was really, really slow, and then when it started picking up, and again, Charlotte Flair works slow matches. Like, that's just her thing. She likes to build up to the big spots. She'll really sandbag and really sell, and then when you're like, God, this match is so fucking boring, and then she does a moonsault from the top ropes, and you're like, holy shit, and it's like, that's what she does. That's her style, and I like that, right? I like that she, has a little slower paced style. So the match started really slow, and then it picked up, and then she wins it with a big boot. That was it.
I thought the boot looked nasty, though. That big boot looked like she caught Ronda right in the face.
Oh, yeah. I mean, if any boot is going to lead to a pin, that would be the boot.
That better be it.
Right? Because that shit looked like it really legit knocked her out. But it just fell out of nowhere, man. It was distraction, big boot. Like, they were doing spot, like big spot, end spot, end spot, end spot, teasing the finish. And you're like, damn, man, this match is going to have some kind of crazy dramatic finish. And no, it was just a big boot after distraction. And it wasn't even like a big boot in a schoolboy. It was like big boot, Ronda's out.
Yes. Yeah. Knocked her out. And I liked it because it was a flash knockout type thing. You see that in UFC. It happens. But
I think that was
man. And that's cool. I think it's a great idea. I thought the finish was good, but I just didn't care for the match. I actually had higher expectations. And
I think if they would have picked up the
yeah,
pace earlier, people would have taken to it better. It was
I
a
think if they
standard,
didn't go 18 minutes, it
yeah.
probably would have been better too.
It was a typical Charlotte Flair match, and they wanted to give it time because it's Charlotte Flair and she usually delivers. I just think that the pacing was off. It started really, really slow, and by the time it got action packed, which is what you want out of a main event world title match at WrestleMania, by the time it got
Right.
to the action, it was like, boom, and we're done. And it's like,
Yeah.
okay, you know what? You could have cut out, if you were going to cut out anything, why didn't you cut out the boring shit in the beginning and just have more big actiony shit at the end? Unless somebody got hurt, you know.
You could have taken 5 minutes off this match, and I think it would have been a lot better.
And if you would have put
That's
those
that's my
5 minutes
opinion.
anywhere else in the card, I don't think anyone would have complained. I think WWE,
Well, look, they had to bump the New Day match to night 2, and how long did that match go?
like a
Dude,
minute.
they could have, yeah, they could have put that match on and just taken 5 minutes from Charlotte and Ronda.
I think they expected more out of Ronda. Because the last time we saw her was a fucking main event with Becky and Charlotte, and it was godlike. And they were expecting, all right, Charlotte and Ronda one on one, give them 20 minutes, they're going to give us a classic. And honestly, man, I feel like Charlotte and Ronda just don't work. I think Ronda works better with Becky
Some,
because Ronda's
yeah,
real fast and action, like fucking boom, boom. Dude, she fights like she does in the UFC. She gets in there and she takes people down and is in your face, whereas Charlotte's slow, methodical. Like, both of those working styles need a bumper to look good.
but
And
here's the
if they
thing:
bumper each other, it doesn't.
Charlotte could have, instead of being slower during Ronda's offense, Charlotte could have been faster and kept up the pace with Ronda. But instead, she works her style, she works her pace, she does her selling. I think had she been a little bit more of a, like you said, a bumper for Ronda, and maybe if it was a little bit quicker of a shine instead of,
Or even Ronda
uh,
bumping for Charlotte. I mean, Ronda was the
sure,
babyface anyways.
sure, but I'm just saying, like, because Ronda does have to get some shine. She's got to get some hope in there. But I don't know. It felt slow, and yeah, like I said, I had higher hopes, and it didn't deliver to me. To me,
Right. Moving on. Main event, day one. Kevin
this
Owens.
is my match of the weekend.
Damn. I knew you would. I knew you loved this one. I'm gonna let you.
Yes.
What's your opening on this one?
Ooh, fuck, dude. So seriously, one of the coolest things is his music hit, and I was like, dude, you guys had one fucking chance, and you could have done it. His music hit 3 hours and 15 minutes into the show. Stone Cold's did.
Oh! I bet they didn't even realize that. And
They
if they
probably didn't even
realized it,
realize it.
if they realized it, they probably would have done it right.
And because I saw a tweet, someone took a screenshot and it said Stone Cold comes out at exactly 3 hours and 16 minutes, and I was like, no fucking way. I had to go and I played it back, and I was like, it was like 3:15 and 23 seconds. But of course, during his entrance, he passes the 3 hour and 16 mark.
Mm-hmm.
But I was like, dude, you had one fucking shot, man. Kevin could have just vamped for another 30 seconds, and you would have had the glass breaking at 3:16.
Right.
That would have been cool as shit. But dude, okay, I fucking love this. You know that I'm a fucking Stone Cold Mark. I had the Austin 316 shirt. You always had the Rock stuff. I always had the Austin stuff when we were kids.
Yeah.
Dude, Kevin's promo at the beginning I thought was fantastic, and when that fucking music hit, when that glass broke, my wife thinks Cody got a bigger pop, and I think she's wrong.
No, nobody
Austin
gets a bigger
got the
pop.
fucking pop of the fucking decade right there, in my opinion. Everybody lost their shit, dude.
I
He
just
came
sat
out
there waiting
when
for
he
the
came out with
glass.
the knee braces. When he came out with them knee braces, I fucking got giddy. I was like,
Right?
this shit's
Because you were
going
like, dude,
down.
he's not wearing that shit for no reason. He is
Nope.
not wearing that for no reason. Oh man. Yeah.
And I loved how they started it as a KO show, and then it was on. Then KO just goes, "This is a trick. I lied to you. I brought you out here because I want a match. I want a no holds barred match, and I want it right now."
And I love that was the story, that Kevin Owens is such a badass that he's like, dude, this isn't me trying to get the jump on you. I'm calling you out because I want to scrap, motherfucker.
Yeah.
I love
Dude, Kevin is one of my favorite people on WWE and has been for years. I loved him on the indies as well. PWG, Ring of Honor. I watched his shit. He's one of my favorite wrestlers, period. But, dude, his promos here. Dude, come on. Yes, I always say I like having the titles go on last. I wish that there was more focus on the main stars that are there every week. But god damn it.
I mean, dude, that was Kevin Owens. Dude, Kevin Owens carried that night. Okay, Austin
he did.
Is
he
old,
absolutely did.
And he did amazing things.
Oh,
but
there was a spot where Kevin whipped Austin into the barricade, and then Austin hit the barricade, came back, and gave Kevin a clothesline. I saw that and I cringed a little bit because when he hit the barrier, oh man, you could just tell his body he wanted to just keep it going, but his body just couldn't react quick enough to bounce right off the barricade. And no, Kevin carried that whole thing. But dude, motherfucker took a suplex on the goddamn cement
twice. Didn't he take 2 suplexes?
Oh my god. No, he gave one and took one.
That's right. He gave one on the stage. Still, it's the same fucking bump. That shit still hurts no matter what.
Dude, I hated taking fucking suplexes. I thought that shit sucked ass. So to take it on concrete, and I've taken it on the floor, dude, it sucks. I'll give a suplex on the floor. Yeah, all day, every day. No problem. I got you. I hated taking them. And god damn it, when he went up for that, I was like, oh. And it wasn't a snap suplex where he could roll with it. No, he just went thud.
And it wasn't no Virgil. It wasn't no Virgil cell. Okay, where Virgil. You see that one where Hogan suplexes Virgil and he lands on his fucking feet and then fucking does a half-ass back bump? It wasn't like that. Like Stone Cold took that shit flat. I was like, fuck, dude. What are you, 60-something? Like, Stone Cold was like...
He's in his 50s.
Yeah, but he looked at Sting and was like, fuck that motherfucker. That's what happened. Stone Cold looked at Sting and was like, fuck that old-ass fucking face paint-ass bitch. Fucking bumping off of a stage. I'm going to bump on the concrete. No tables.
Taking that shit, motherfucker. Dude, it was so good. I geeked out. Like I said, I was on the edge of my seat, big fucking grin, eyes fucking wide as fucking plates. And oh my god, I loved every moment of it. I like that Owens hit the stunner on Stone Cold, and that was a kick out. I think that would have been a cool kick out at one moment. If he hit the stunner and went for the pin, and Stone Cold kicked out at one, no-sold that motherfucker and stood right back up, I think that place would have lost their fucking minds.
Yeah.
But I think it could have also killed Kevin Owens because he uses that as a legit finish, one and done, Yeah. So I'm glad they did it. But
sold it because he wants Kevin Owens over, man. I guess he requested this match, so.
It wouldn't shock me. Kevin Owens even did an interview. I want to say it was Sunday or Monday. And he goes, yeah, I might have been playing the long game here. He's like, I did go to Steve and ask him if I could start using the stunner as a finish, and he was so gracious and allowed me to use it. He goes, but I knew if I'm doing the stunner on TV and he ever wants to come back, he's gonna come for me.
Right.
And I'm like, that smart motherfucker.
Right. Brilliant.
But dude, that match was great. I love. It's funny. I'm pretty sure Kevin Owens doesn't drink alcohol like at all. Not like he's straight edge. He just doesn't drink. He just chooses not to. And so to him to get the beer bath and the beer bash and the stunners, yeah, that was awesome. That was great. Like I said, fan service to the end. Fucking 19 stars. Doesn't even have to be in the Tokyo Dome.
Even still, just for what it was still a damn good match. Like, the storytelling was good, the athleticism, the execution. Like, Stone Cold obviously was not Stone Cold, but he didn't screw up any spots.
No.
He was slow. He certainly couldn't move like he used to, but when he took that suplex, he took that suplex perfect. Like, that was like the most perfect fucking flat protected bump. Like, he's still, like, even though I want to say he's still got it, but he doesn't. It's just like that muscle memory of like that flawless execution. Just it's so ingrained. Like he can't not do all of his moves perfectly. He just
Well,
doesn't
notice he
slow.
didn't even he didn't do the Luthez press this time.
No, I don't think he can jump. You
I don't
saw
think so either.
he didn't do any. He didn't do a whole lot of running, and like when he did Irish whip spots, he was kind of walking. When he did the mud hole stomping, he wasn't jumping into him like he used to. He was just kind of
No.
barely tapping him.
Oh, his knees are shot. His knees
Yeah.
are shot. Yeah.
So,
He's his whole body is shot.
but
But
yeah,
that was dope.
match ish of the night for me as well.
That was my
one
match
of
of the
three.
fucking weekend.
Yeah.
Weekend. That owned everything of the weekend.
See,
To me.
now we're going into match of the weekend. We're gonna have to go into day 2. And that's my match of the weekend is on day 2.
Oh, I know where you're headed with that. All right, let's go. Let's
but
go.
so we're gonna speed through these to be
All right,
short
all
on
right.
time as best as we can. Women's Tag Team Championship. What's your opinion?
Honestly, I didn't really pay attention to this one.
Okay.
Just I like the women in it. I can't remember the reason why. Willing to bet it's because around that time my kids were getting ready for bed. Because the match that came after that, which was Edge and AJ, I didn't watch that until the next day. Because I completely missed that putting my kids to bed. But I didn't pay attention much to the women's tag. I know Sasha and Naomi won, which was I was either hoping for them or Liv and Rhea. I thought that would have been a cool team. But no, I'm glad Sasha and Naomi won. Sasha finally won at WrestleMania. She's never won a match at WrestleMania. So that was cool. I'm happy for them.
I enjoyed it, man. They had a really cool multi-person spot where like everybody on each side of the ring did like a double power bomb, triple suplex thing. It was like a really big, every woman in the match was involved. So I guess.
Oh, was
like
it the
an
Tower
8-person
of Doom spot?
I can't remember. No, it was like
Where
somebody.
they're all in
was
the
going-
corner doing the big
So
thing.
everybody, there was like everybody, like 3 people on each side, or 4 people on each side. 2 people were trying to do a top rope suplex onto one person, so like double teaming 2 people suplexing one person off the top ropes, and then
Yes.
Rhea and Liv jumped in and grabbed those 2 that were doing the suplex and power bombed
Yes.
them from
Okay.
behind.
Yes.
And I thought that was really cool. And I think as an opening match to like build hype and get people excited, you want those crazy
this
multi-person.
4. What are you
spots.
talking about? Opening matches. This was match 4.
Well, no, it was match 1 on night 2.
No, match 1 was RK Bro versus Street Profits and Alpha
that's
Academy.
Right, that's right. I'm looking at a card and it has them out of order. Okay, so then all
okay.
right. So the women's match, yeah, I liked it. I thought it was
Okay, cool.
But so the
I'll have to go
first
back and
match-
watch it.
So the first match was the Street Profits versus Alpha Academy and RK Bro, and you said you
Yeah.
didn't catch that at all.
No,
Okay.
not at all.
It was awesome. I mean, everybody kind of what you expected out of it, you got. It was pretty much everybody beating up Riddle until we could get the hot tag to Randy, and then he comes in and we RKO
Gotcha.
everybody. And I think Riddle did a RKO off the top ropes for the finish or something to that extent. It was a fun match. We saw a lot of really cool stuff from the Street Profits doing a lot of their really cool spots, and Alpha.
I like all
Academy.
6 guys are fucking great.
Yeah.
I'd love to see Riddle as the world champ someday.
Oh yeah, he's definitely probably going to be one of their guys. Alpha Academy was amazing. Like, I'm glad that people are starting to realize how amazing Chad is. Like, Chad has
he's
been one
good
of my
for years.
favorites for so long. He is so good,
Mhm.
and I'm just loving that. Like, again, another guy that I was always high on was Otis. Back in NXT when he was in Heavy Machinery, and I kept thinking like, man, they could do so much. I always thought Otis was like kind of the star of that team. And so seeing him and Chad together, I love it, man. They got a lot of really cool stuff in there, and it was an excellent match to like hype up the crowd. You know, Randy Orton, people love
Okay, good.
RKO. So
Yeah.
all right.
You know what? The thing about Otis and Chad that I really like is they also trained together for the Olympics. I remember seeing pictures that Otis, it was either Otis or Chad posting. It was them because Otis, I want to say, was a wrestler too.
Wow.
Yeah, I don't think he made it to the Olympics, but I want to say he was training here in Colorado for the Olympics back when Chad went in like 2012, I think it was. Yeah.
So maybe it works out perfectly that they're tagged together. Maybe they
Dude,
maybe
it
they
makes
knew
so much sense.
because they were both in NXT around the same time training together. It's just Chad got called up earlier.
Yeah.
So
Yeah,
like,
Otis was there for a long time, yeah.
so maybe they knew that. Maybe the WWE was like, hey, since you guys were such homies in NXT, you want to tag together?
Probably.
But
And like I said, they knew each other in their amateur careers too. Yeah.
yeah, and I mean the tag team is amazing. Like
It's great.
dude, I love Chad and Otis like on their own. You know, what was next? Was it Bobby Lashley and Omos?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
So again, that was the Undertaker match, right? We have a badass babyface who we keep strong to feed to our top heels, and that's Bobby Lashley, right? It seems since they've turned him babyface, but it doesn't look like they're going to let him anywhere near Roman or Brock anytime soon. So
No.
it looks like they have him as just to be a strong babyface, and then if they need a heel to get good heat for a pay-per-view, they can have him in a program with Bobby Lashley, the Raw before. Hey, look, man, they could take the belt. Look, they beat Bobby Lashley. And that's kind of what they used The Undertaker for like, what, 20 years?
Yeah. I didn't care for this match, to be quite honest. You know, I like Bobby Lashley, but he wasn't good. I don't think he was good enough to carry Omos. I didn't care for Omos.
See, I'm the opposite.
I thought he was better than like
it.
a great Khali.
Oh,
I
yeah.
definitely think he's better than most of the other big men they've tried to book lately that are, you know, of his size. I don't know. It just, to me, it was meh. I just didn't care for it. I watched the whole match. I tuned back in after the tag match because I saw the Chad Gable and Gable Steveson square off, and then I watched the rest of the most of the rest of the show. But yeah, I watched this and I don't know. I just didn't care.
See,
I mean, dude, this match was booked on Monday Night Raw before Mania.
Yeah, that's stupid. But the reason why I liked it was kind of cool to see Bobby Lashley work almost like a cruiserweight. Because he was bumping around and flipping around and selling for Omos. And, I mean, we knew Bobby Lashley could sell for a giant. We just never see it because usually Bobby Lashley is the giant. You know?
Right?
So, like, it was cool to see that. I found the match interesting because we saw that diversity in what Bobby Lashley can do. Like, it really cemented, like, yo, dude, this guy can put on a decent match with anybody. And it wasn't a banger, but, like, he made Omos look like a monster, man. He made it almost look like Omos. Throughout the match, I'm like, are they really going to put Omos over Lashley?
I thought they were for a moment.
And, I mean, again, like, it's not one of Lashley's best matches ever. No. But if I were Bobby Lashley, that's a match I'd be proud of. That's a match I'd be like, yeah, motherfucker, you tell me if you could do that.
Yeah, like I said, I just didn't care. I like Bobby. You know, there's a lot of. I thought his heel run these last couple of years has been fantastic. Yeah, this one just didn't interest me. But I never really took an interest in Omos either. So maybe that's why.
Yeah, me either. Like to me, he's just another Khali or Gigante.
Basically,
like he moves better than them, but like. I mean, what do they want out of this guy? Right? Like, why do they keep pushing this shit? What are we going to get? We're going to get a bunch of really, really bad matches that make wrestling look awful so that way you can impress people at airports.
In my opinion, they use giants like this, like the freak show at the circus.
Yeah, and I find it, I don't want to say offensive, but maybe if you were a giant, you'd find it exploitative. I just, like, I don't know, man. I'm over it. Like, if you could find me a giant that can move like goddamn Kevin Nash, okay? Like, when they had Morrissey, and I was like, dude, Morrissey's 7 feet tall and can't teach that. But goddamn, look at him move. And Kevin Nash is slow and clunky, but damn, he could move for being 7 feet. Give me somebody like that. I could get behind somebody that's 7 feet tall if they're like Kevin Nash or Morrissey. But like these fucking slow giants that, dude, if I have to watch them do the little shoulder nerve pinch for 20 minutes again, oh, he's got him in the pressure point, and it's like, dude, come on, dude. Like, this shit looked real when Ming did it, but that's because it was Ming.
Yeah,
Omos
fucking
is
yeah,
not
dude.
main.
You don't fuck with Haku.
You know, it's like, dude, that spot. Every giant does that, and it looks like they're giving you a shoulder rub. That's what it looks like to me.
Exactly, and you hit it on the head. It's the next Giant Gonzalez. It's the next one of those guys. Now, if they had kept Morrissey, I don't think they may not have gone for Omos because you had a legit big man who was jacked. He looked fantastic and could move. His promos were a little bit to be desired, but so is Omos in my opinion. That's why they put MVP with him now.
Right.
But yeah, dude, I'm just not a big fan of the freak show. You know,
Me either.
I didn't care for Giant Gonzalez. Yeah, I think that's what they try to use these bigger guys as. Big Show was different.
Because he
Big
could
Show was
move.
the freak show, but Big Show, dude, he could do moonsaults back in the day. Holy shit!
Yeah. Big Show could
Yeah,
fucking wrestle.
yeah.
Anyway.
Yeah, this one was a pass
Right.
for me.
Moving along. What was next? Was it Knoxville versus Zayn?
Yes.
Match of the night.
That
That was it, dude. Match of the night for me. Me and the wife popped the whole fucking time. We had the most fun with that match. And
It was
honestly, dude, I want Knoxville to come back, man. I was like, dude, he can fucking wrestle. Like, he's not Bret Hart, but yo, man, he did better than Logan Paul. He kept my attention the whole fucking time.
You know what? Here's the thing I like about celebrities, and when they actually buy into coming in and doing this type of stuff. You know, it's one thing when when you saw Snooki at WrestleMania 27,
Yeah.
and it's like she was booked for the celebrity, that type of draw. But dude, Knoxville gave it everything. The storyline build up for this match was fantastic.
Oh,
It wasn't your typical wrestling storyline, and that's what I loved about it. Dude, fucking Sammy getting Knoxville's cell phone number and texting him shit at like 2 a.m. and selfies and shit, calling him out, and then Knoxville putting Sammy's number on a fucking airplane and flying it over LA. And the best part was Sammy picked up the goddamn phone for some of these people.
Not even
Holy
that,
shit.
but I
It
just
was
love
great. It was Knoxville making Sammy go crazy. Oh, the buildup was great. Knoxville was all in on it. I loved the fact that they brought in Wee Man. We were just missing Steve-O, man. That was it.
Dude, I just love that
Dude.
Knoxville took it like as if he kind of did it the way Andy Kaufman did. Not that this is just a
Yes.
celebrity guest thing. Like, no, man,
Right.
fuck Sami Zayn. We're having a feud. I don't like you, and we have to settle this at WrestleMania. You know, like that felt like, yo, dude, these guys have to settle this at WrestleMania. They just don't get
Yes.
along. They don't get along.
Out of all the celebrity matches, this was the only one that I was okay with.
Yeah. It was amazing. And, dude, I got to give big ups to fucking Wee Man for taking that haluva kick straight up. He got fucking wrecked.
Dude, watch the
Oh.
one that Knoxville took at the Royal Rumble.
Oh, yeah. But the
Whew,
one when they
across the
closed up,
nose.
when they did the close up of Wee Man and you just see his face crumpling in from the fucking kick and you're like, dude, see, this is why Jackass works, because they're not going to be scared. Wee Man probably said, oh, yeah,
Right?
dude, hit me with the fucking kick. Wee Man probably
bring
looked at
that shit.
and said, I want you to do that move, right? The Jackass guys, fuck yeah, dude. Match of the night.
Dude, and watch Knoxville when he's taking offense. You know, when you see wrestlers taking offense, you could see them, do the turn before the hit. You could see them put the hand up. Nah, Knoxville's hands were down every fucking move that he hit with.
Yeah.
Punches, kicks, it didn't fucking matter. Knoxville took it on the chin. He needs to come back more. I need more Johnny Knoxville and Sami Zayn.
Just all of
Fuck it.
Jackass. dude.
Team them the fuck up and let them just get the Raw and SmackDown tag titles and just run through everybody.
Dude, even like Chris Pontius was fucking bumping. Dude, bring all of Jackass
yeah.
in. Train them. Jackass needs to be wrestlers.
I loved it. Yeah, absolutely.
All right. McAfee and Austin Theory.
I didn't care for the match, but I was really impressed with Pat McAfee.
See, I didn't care for the match, and I barely paid attention. Like, it did nothing for me. I get that Pat McAfee is, like, huge, but it was kind of like the Bad Bunny thing for me. It was like, yeah, I guess if you're really into Bad Bunny, this was cool. I'm not.
Well, see, and I like Pat. I don't watch his talk show all the time. I watch it here and there, but I love his commentary. I think the dude is awesome on commentary.
I love his
He
commentary, and that was
he
the thing.
makes SmackDown.
Oh yes, that was the
He
thing that
I'm gonna
bothered me,
dude.
man. Is if he's wrestling,
Michael
he's not
Cole,
commentating.
right? Michael Cole has found his Jerry Lawler.
Yeah, I'd say
This
that.
is the new JR and Jerry. This is the pairing I want. Michael Cole is better because of Pat McAfee.
But see, all of this that we're saying is just drawing attention to the fact that I didn't really want him in the ring. Like, I get he wants to be a wrestler and the match was okay,
Right.
but man, I really would have rather have heard him commentating one more match. I like his commentary that much, and
Yes.
like Austin Theory's cool. I haven't really been following him since he left NXT. Like his stuff with the Way and all that was all right. But like I haven't really been following him, so I wasn't invested in this match. I think
Right,
executionally, like nobody really fucked anything up that I can think of.
No.
But I wasn't as hyper excited, and I felt like the ending with Vince McMahon was way too self indulgent.
Yeah. I
It
agree.
went on a lot longer than it need to. Vince McMahon did not need to do a whole match. If the whole point was to do a Vince stunner bump, which didn't even look good, like if that was the whole point, we did not have to have that whole fucking match. Like that
I
whole
agree.
segment was what, like a half an hour, and it was mostly fluff and like Vince McMahon pretending that he's still in shape and can fight.
Well, I mean, he is still in shape, but no, he can't fight.
He is not in shape. That motherfucker is chemically grown, okay?
Oh well, hell
The
yeah, he's chemically
chemicals
grown. The
in his
dude's in his
body.
70s.
Yeah, the chemicals are in shape, but yeah, no. Like looking and seeing him move, I'm like, yeah, there's no way this man is able to lift weights enough to get into that shape. Like,
Dude.
that's all steroids.
Oh, 100%. He sent a video of himself doing I want to say I forget the weight, but it was massive. In the hundreds of pounds for not a squat, but I want to say like a leg press or something. And he sent it to Pat McAfee before WrestleMania, and Pat put it on his TV show or his talk show.
Yeah,
Yeah,
and again, but when you see him
Vince could still lift, but yes, it is all chemical. But that's what happens when you're 70 years old.
But
you
that's
know?
what I'm saying is when you watch that match, it's like, dude, do I really want to watch Vince like stumble through an Irish
Honestly,
whip and like accent, like, dude, that clothesline, he did like one clothesline on McAfee, and I'm like, why is this on TV? Like,
oh, dude,
this
go
just
watch
looks
it back.
bad.
Go watch it back. Vince stood still, and Pat would take the bump, get up, and run back at him just to take another clothesline bump. It was just Vince standing still. He wasn't doing anything. Honestly, you could have saved a whole lot of time. You had Pat McAfee beat Theory. Vince rolls in. They attack Pat. Austin's music hits. Stunner Central. He comes out. He stuns Austin Theory. He stuns Vince. He's celebrating with Pat. Stuns Pat. Beer bash in it. Go home.
No,
You could have
you
saved
can't-
15 minutes.
You can't skip the Byron stunner. That was.
Well, that was night one.
That was night one. Oh, okay,
That
never
was
mind
night
then.
one.
I thought that was night two. Okay, then yeah,
Mhm.
perfect. That would work out perfect. I was like, let's not
Yeah.
forget the Byron Saxton stunner. Okay,
Nope.
that has to come. That still has to happen. But yeah, I felt the match, specifically the end was too self-indulgent. It was just like
Yes.
I get Vince trying to like get heat for the Austin entrance, but oh god, it took too long. It took too long, and I wasn't invested from the start, and I think that was my issue.
Yeah. Yeah.
All right, Edge and AJ. Oh man, it's
I looked forward to this match for a long time.
It was
I
AJ
thought this
Nakamura
was-
too.
It was AJ Nakamura too.
We
It
knew
was
gonna
slow.
happen. We knew it.
It was slow.
It's not even
It-
the slow, dude. I didn't care about the slow because it picked up pace at the end, dude. And then all of a sudden, AJ lost because like Damian Priest came out and looked at him. What the fuck is this shit?
Yeah, that was kind of weird. Like, I get it. It was, it distracted him for a
Dude, he
split
couldn't have
second,
hit
enough
him,
for
like,
Edge to
at least
realize.
punched him or something.
Or hopped up on the apron.
Yeah.
Anything. He just
looked
stood
him.
at ringside.
And
What are you
AJ
doing?
Noticed him.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like, I was like, dude, and that's why I don't like these dream matches that they use to start angles. Okay, if you're going to give us a dream match, just give us the dream match. AJ Styles versus Finn Balor. Dream match. No story. Two dudes, we all like them. Let's see who wins. That's all they
And
needed
that
to
match
fucking
fucking
do.
owned when they did that at Survivor Series
Yeah,
that year.
that's all they needed to fucking do. That's it.
Yes.
All we had to do. You like Edge, you like AJ, who's going to win? Okay, and then maybe after that, then you do the story. Okay, now Edge turns heel. Now that we got the dream match, now Edge turns heel and we can do a program. But dude, they didn't give us the dream match. They gave us the start of a new angle. And it took away from the dream match aspect of it. Because it's not Edge and AJ Styles, the two wrestlers that we love. It's AJ Styles versus this new character that Edge is putting out.
Yes,
Nobody
agree.
wanted to
I
see
100%
fucking
agree.
AJ Styles versus some new purple fucking wearing Edge, right? They wanted to see AJ Styles come out and then all of a sudden, you think you know me. And then, the fucking fireworks and Edge coming out doing devil horns with sunglasses. That's what people wanted. And that's not the match we got. We got AJ Styles Nakamura too.
Yeah, and that's a bummer, man, because I think this was the longest match on the whole show. And
Yeah, they gave him the time. They gave him the time it needed.
It didn't hit. I think had we had babyface Edge and babyface Styles, the dream, like you said, the dream match, it would have been a lot better. And then you could have turned Edge the next night on Raw. Maybe they come out, do the whole, oh, we'll shake hands, great, and then Damian Priest attacks, and then what the fuck?
Yeah.
Tune in next week, folks.
Yeah, like now there's a reason why Edge would have recruited Damian Priest, because he lost,
Mm-hmm.
It's like now there's like, what the fuck? I guess there's the whole time I was like, yeah, so I guess they had no other way to get Damian Priest on this show. They couldn't have thought of any other reason to get the former United States champion at WrestleMania. So they just said, hey, I don't know, you like Edge? You seem like
they're putting a faction together. So I've been reading rumors that they're putting a faction together that Edge is going to lead. It's been rumored for a while that Priest was on it. The other rumored names are Rhea Ripley and Tommaso Ciampa.
Dude, put both of them in there.
And I'm all for it.
But
they should have started it
after WrestleMania. That's a Raw after WrestleMania story, man.
Yes.
Right? Edge
Oh my god.
turning heel. That's the kind of shit they would show at the day after WrestleMania.
Yes.
I think
That's
WrestleMania is not where you start angles. It's where you end angles. And I felt like one of the problems people had with this one, it was with WrestleMania that started a lot of angles. So it didn't give you that WrestleMania closure.
Nope.
So, yeah.
And that's what they did with fucking AJ and Nakamura. They had this babyface versus babyface match and ends with Nakamura giving him a low blow after a really lackluster match. And it's like, oh, so that's starting. Again, yeah, Priest distracts him. Now what? Like, yeah. That was disappointing. I wish I was hoping for more. Again, I built it up in my mind. You know?
And remember, I called it. I was like, dude, there's still the threat that we get in AJ Nakamura too. There's still, like, we're going in hoping for AJ versus Shane McMahon. And we got AJ versus Nakamura too.
Absolutely right. And that was a shame.
It sucked, but moving on, the last match, title for title, right? Roman Reigns, Brock Lesnar. Just go for it.
It ended the way it needed to end. Roman needed to hold both belts. That's how it needed to go. I enjoyed the match. I knew it was going to be a slow, big man beating the tar out of each other match. That's how all of their matches are. So I had but it wasn't, to me, it wasn't bad. It's exactly what I expected. So it lived up to my expectations. And it ended the way it should have.
See,
I was totally happy with Roman walking out with the belts. Yeah, man. Yeah.
I'm the exact opposite. First of all, I don't have a problem with Roman getting the belts. That, I could have gone either way. Brock or Roman, I didn't care. Either of them would have been fine. I could see what they could do with both of them, and there's a lot of stuff, and both of them are over. Both of them make sense. So it could have gone either way.
Sure.
My problem, first of all, I don't know if Roman really got hurt. We should probably mention that. Apparently, allegedly, Roman really got hurt and really dislocated his shoulder, and that's why them ending was so out of nowhere.
Right.
I'm not buying it. The reports I'm hearing is that Brock, like, overpulled him on the Kimura, and I'm like, bullshit, fucking marks. Like,
You know what? I
Brock
was
could
looking
put
at
that
those
move.
photos.
Brock could do that
Yeah.
move safely in his fucking sleep, dude. Nobody's getting hurt in a Kimura unless Brock wants you hurt. And Brock is not going to hurt Roman Reigns. They've worked with Brock knows that his meal ticket is his Roman Reigns feud.
Sure.
He's not fucking hurting that guy. Brock's a professional. So I don't think Roman got hurt. I think the finish was what they wanted it to. Again, they're trying to do the UFC. Oh, you could win out of nowhere. And it just doesn't fucking work. Wrestling is not UFC. I thought Brock going down to one spear. And I'm like, wait a minute. Didn't he have to use like 5 of these things to beat old Undertaker? The man that Brock beat.
I could have sworn he did more than one, but I'll have to go back and watch it.
He did more than one, but the finish was one spear. So he had speared him earlier in the match, but at the end,
gotcha.
It was boom, one spear, pin, over. And it was like, yeah, he had done, like 3 Superman punches and whatever, but it was one spear, one and done, no kick out. I get that. It's Roman's finishing move, but that's a finishing move that has been devalued, and Brock Lesnar is like, dude, it's Brock, okay? If he beats Seth Rollins with one spear, all right, man, Seth Rollins. Dude, it's fucking Brock Lesnar. He ended the streak. He's a UFC champion. It took 3 of this move to beat the goddamn Undertaker, right? Like, Braun Strowman used to shrug off these spears. And you're telling me he beat Brock fucking Lesnar with this fucking one spear? I didn't like that. I didn't like the match, period, because it was a typical Brock Lesnar Roman Reigns match of like, yo, dude, between the two of us, we have like 6 moves. So we're going to alternate our 6 moves so that way we don't do the same move more than once in a row, and then that's our match. So it was like Suplex City, Superman Punch, then F5, then drive-by dropkick, and then Suplex City, and then another Superman. Like, they just alternated their big moves.
You know what, though? If you go back and watch their previous matches, this one, I think this is their 3rd or 4th time wrestling each other for a title. Go back and watch them, and the build-up. The matches now, to me, it feels like when they start these matches, it's always who's going to hit their finish first. And they always rush it. I mean, like, Brock hit that F5 minutes into this match. But if you go the first one they had, that wasn't how it was at 31. And so, yeah, man, I think I enjoyed the match because I was remembering the previous matches, and I was like, oh, they're just going to come out swinging. This ain't going to be like lock up, hold for hold. It's going to be like, no, I'm going straight for that motherfucking Superman punch.
I mean, I get that, but like, it was like, I don't know, man. It felt less like a wrestling match and more like Batman versus Superman. It was like, we're going to hit each other with our biggest, heaviest shit as quick as possible and like no sell everything. And that's what kind of killed the finish for me. Like, it would have made sense if they had been selling throughout the match, but I felt like they kind of rushed, like, bam, Suplex City. Okay, bam, Superman punch. Okay, bam, into this move. It was very fast-paced and hard-hitting, which would have been fine with any other finish. But, like,
okay.
You can't have that finish come out of nowhere. Like, dude, you can't have Brock Lesnar lose to a spear when he already kicked out of a spear.
Yeah, you can, though, because if he's hitting multiple,
But it wasn't right. It wasn't after the another. He hit a spear, and then it was like 10 minutes before he hit the second one. And so
I have to go back and watch it because I could have sworn there were more spears than that. I could have sworn he hit like 3, 4, or 5 on the guy.
No,
but throughout the match, not like back to back, not like Cody's Crossroads where it's boom, boom, boom. But yeah, like he hit a couple, then Brock didn't go down, hit a couple more. Because I don't think Brock kicks out. I think they do things, they hit it close to the ropes or he rolls out or something like that. But again, man, it was fun. It was exactly the type of match I knew these two would have. It wasn't long, which was good. I mean, if this match went 18 minutes, I don't remember how long it went, but dude, if this match went close to 20, I'd be shocked.
Yeah, I don't know if I would have watched like any. Honestly, you know what though? If I'm being 100%, if it went 20 minutes, I think I would have liked it better. I feel like my main complaint is that the ending came out of nowhere, and that if they had sold a little bit better throughout the match, it would have made the ending have a little bit more impact. So 5 minutes to let them slow down and breathe and let every impact matter, because both these guys can sell, but like they're sitting there no selling everything and just like, oh yeah, I shrugged off a F5. It's like, dude, that move fucking finishes people. Okay, you should be knocked out and selling that for a good 45 goddamn minutes. And it was like he did a F5, he kicked out, they sold it for a little bit. Okay, now to the next big spot. And it's like, I feel like they could have done more to make the finish not seem out of nowhere, because I feel like WWE can't pull those finishes off. They just can't. Every time they try to do an out of nowhere finish that isn't an RKO or a schoolboy, it just doesn't work for me.
I hear you.
But other than that, well, go ahead.
I was gonna say, I hear you. I still liked it, because that means you're fucking wrong. But no, yeah, it was fun.
Well, I mean, like, I don't want to say that I disliked it. I'm indifferent. It's like you said,
okay.
It was exactly what it was going to be. I knew what I was going to get. I walked in. I didn't expect to get much, and I got exactly what I expected. So I can't say I was disappointed or let down. I just didn't expect it to be great, and it wasn't great. It was good. I expected it to be kind of good.
Okay.
And yeah.
And it wasn't kind of good to you.
I just feel like they could have done it better. I just wanted the fourth time of these two, man. They needed to do something that we hadn't seen before, and they didn't.
No, and you're right. Headlining a WrestleMania like this, maybe they should have added a little bit more.
If this was the first
for
time
being promoted the biggest main event of all time, sure. I think there should have been something bigger. I'll go with you on that one.
For me, it's just like, dude, this is a match we've been given before.
Right.
Like, there needed to be.
It wasn't different. You are right. It wasn't different.
At least make it a no holds barred match. Like, at least give us something other than just Brock versus Roman again. Finally, for the fourth time.
I would have liked to have seen like a cage or a Hell in a Cell. That would have been fun.
Man, just anything. Anything other than regular ass one-on-one. Because we got that 3 times before.
Right.
Yeah,
how cool would it have been if Roman holding both belts standing on top of the cell, ending the night?
Yeah.
I think that would have been a pretty cool visual.
And that would have made sense, because they've been feuding for like 6 goddamn years. So it would make sense for them to finish the blood feud with a Hell in the Cell. WWE likes to forget things that happened 15 minutes ago. They act like this is a new feud, and it's like, no, dude, we've literally been watching Brock and Roman for years. This is not a
2014 was their first main event.
Yeah, and WWE is like, you've never seen this before. No, we have many times from you.
Yeah, 2015 was their first main event. Yeah.
But at the end of the day, I would say WrestleMania was probably the best WWE show I've seen in at least 5 years. I enjoyed it.
Okay.
It makes me excited to watch another pay-per-view, but it didn't enjoy it enough to want to watch Raw or SmackDown.
Well, I watched Raw, like I said, that 90 minutes of Raw. It went by quick, and I actually told the wife, I was like, that's not a bad way to watch Raw. If I had to watch 3 hours, that would have sucked. But 90 minutes, bang, 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 dude, it was nice. No commercials, nice.
Fuck that. I'll wait till the pay-per-view. They'll have the preview pack, the build-up package that'll show me all the important parts of Raw. I don't need to watch Raw. Just wait till the pay-per-view. They'll catch me up. I'll know what's going on. They have good packages.
They do have good packages. I enjoy a nice package.
Look at that. We're almost at 2 hours.
Jesus Christ.
But it was WrestleMania. We had to go the distance.
Had to.
Right. But either way, I want to thank you for coming by one more time. Those of you that are listening in, I want to thank Ryan Stone for showing up and knocking out our post-WrestleMania recap. You can follow me on all the places where you already follow me. But Ryan Stone, where can they follow you?
At Ryan Stone SD on Twitter. Come say hi. Come at me with some fucking hot wrestling takes, some bad wrestling takes, some good wrestling takes. I just like talking wrestling. Hell, fucking DM me. We could DM about fucking wrestling. I don't give 2 shits. I like talking wrestling. This is fucking fun.
Seriously. Well, with that, we're going to get out of here. But like, comment, subscribe, all of that shit, right? You can comment on his shit too. He likes it.
Yeah, like, comment, subscribe, do all that shit. Let's fucking go.
Right? I'll talk to you later, Chief.
Later.